Hello comrades, CommissarBRO here with Superpower 2, this time as Cuba. Why Cuba, you ask? Well, Cuba was actually the first country that was requested, because there was a lot more variation in what was requested than I thought. So instead I'm like, hey, why not go ahead and pick Cuba, and I'll just do more videos over time of different countries. You know, there's no need to drag this on as long as I have, you know, the Djibouti. I'm sorry, the Djibouti episodes. You know, we're on number 14 with that right now, I think. So instead, we're just gonna, you know, make this maybe 2, 3, not too much more than that, parter. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And we are going to take Cuba all the way home to the bank. It should be a little bit difficult. Cuba, unlike Djibouti, when I play Djibouti, starts the game being hated by the world, which sucks, but hey, you know, it's not too bad. I'm sure I can find some magical way to make this country great again. Don't you think? Don't you think? I think so. I think we can do this. I think we've got it in us as a good partnership of buddies and comrades and whatnot. So anyway, I'm going to do what I normally do when I try to bring a country out of a worsening debt problem, and hopefully what I do is enough to save this dying country. Alright, let's see. Okay, as you can see, this is kind of where I've got my budget at right now. This is about how I do it every time. Telecoms and infrastructure are always very, very important in my play style. With economic health, we have the interest level at 0%. I'm hoping to promote growth. Now, we're still not making any money. That sucks. But this isn't the end. We are slowly going to pull this up, and we want to do it faster rather than later. Let's go ahead and bring the global tax mod up a couple percents. I think 9.1% is a good part to start. Let's see, we've got food and agriculture. Oh, it's all government owned. That's right, I forgot. Cuba's a government, you know, because it's a communist nation. A lot of the stuff is government owned. So we want to swap it over to private. Generally, if you swap it over to private, it promotes growth throughout your little kingdom, your empire, or whatever you want to call it, your republic, I don't care. So, like, yeah, government allows you to control it directly, and you can actually set goals of how you want it, but for just unadulterated, expansive growth, we're going to go with private. Unfortunately, there's not a private old button, so we've got to go down one by one by one by one to do this. Also, take notes, ladies and gentlemen. This is how I play every time that I pick a country. So this is probably the slowest I'm going to go on how to do, or like, you know, how I play Superpower. If anyone was curious, 'cause I know a lot of people ask questions, and don't get me wrong, I do not mind at all answering your questions. Especially because this can be an expansive game, and at sometimes can be confusing. So I understand completely. But anyway, so we have now swapped all that over. Let's see, we've got troops we can sell, and I think I'm gonna try to sell everything I can. All right, we're gonna sell that. We're gonna sell that because we can rebuild our army later. And, you know, Cuba's not one of those countries that is just inherently terrible. It really isn't. I mean, it's got a decent population. It has a lot of resources and a lot of different things. Like, they don't have vehicles, precious stones, and that's it. That's the only two things that Cuba doesn't have. So, realistically speaking, Cuba's actually got a lot of potential for growth, and has a lot of potential to be in a huge country if you get everything squared away. what I like to do starting out is I like to kind of lower corruption, get my approval rating up, and increase stability. Now, let's see if we can't get swapped over to a multi-party democracy. Nope, we're stuck at a single party. Probably because there are no other parties. That's another strange thing about this game is you can't open it up like to a multi-party democracy and eliminate that hole, unfortunately. But, I mean, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So let's just keep selling some stuff. Try to get the big stuff out of here. Because that... And we'll just keep a couple of things here and there. Alright, that should be good as far as sale-wise. Now let's speed the game up. And let's see how my changes are going to affect Cuba. As you can see, inflation's already gone up 0.3%. We want to try to get to around 3%. That's a good safe area for it. So that's really where we want it at. However, if things get worse, we might have to lower some more stuff. Like that, for example. I might even have to lower telecom. I'll lower education a little bit. I really don't want to take it any lower than that, because if you do, corruption starts to rise. Even if you've got government maxed out, government can get really high really fast, which is a bad thing. Or, I mean, corruption, anyway, it's a bad thing. Government's a good thing. Let's see, what else can we do? Let's see if legalizing... Well, let's open up our borders. You never know, this might make people happier. Improve our approval rating. We want to get it around 50% so we don't get voted out of office or some crap like that. Let's see. We're gonna permit abortions. I might even permit child labor. I'm considering it. I am considering it. Alright, as this country, as Cuba, the world does not like you. They don't care for you. They think your poo stinks. And that sucks. But that's alright. We'll live through it. The problem with that is, though, it makes it harder to go to war with anybody, you know, because people hate you so incredibly much. And really, the reason why people hate you so incredibly much is because you're communist. It's a shitty reason to be hated by the world, but whatever. It's the truth. In this particular game, you know, well, even in general, the world seems to hate governments that become communist governments. Even if they don't really practice communism. Anyway, that's a discussion for later. But what's important here is... Really? There's nobody who speaks English in Cuba. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. We're going to try to make our laws like the United States to try to maybe get them to like us more. Because, you know, they hate us, and we want to get on better terms with the Western nations. So that we, as a country, can receive aid, which is what we need. And let's see, tourism. Tourism's slowly rising, that's a good thing. But the expenses for it are rising too, which is not a good thing. Let's see. Okay, it's been 6 months. Our expenses haven't gone down much. Diplomacy, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, what can we do, ladies and gentlemen? What can we do? The great nation of Cuba needs friends. No, seriously, that's exactly what I need right now. That's actually kind of my problem. I don't have any friends in this whole wide world. It sucks being a communist in this game. It sucks. It frickin' sucks. Let's see. Bam, look at that. Now we are, you know, actually paying off our debt. But again, this is not the best idea, because by doing this, we're killing economic growth right now. Because look at my global tax, that's 61.3%. So we're paying off our debt, but it's just dangerous to go this particular route. But this is the best way to pay off debt and to get your expenses under control, which is what we're trying to do. And with our debt climbing and our corruption climbing, we have a little bit of a problem. So yeah, that's why we're doing what we're doing. But anyway, that should... There, we've got a nice little income there. That should slow corruption, maybe? Maybe? Nope. Still not slowing corruption. I might have to max it out. Well, tourism is raising, so if I lower taxes just a little bit, let's raise it about, or let's lower it about 4% or so. Because stability is actually affected by a high tax rate too. So let's see. That should help out a little bit, not much. Not much, I would imagine. But we still have about 2 years or so to the next election. And even though there's only one party, so as long as we don't have any, you know, problems with the neighbors, we should be good. Bam! Look at that. Alright, good. Making a little bit extra money. Alright, let's raise foreign aid. Start giving money to other countries. And maybe they'll like us more. The people of Cuba are patient. We're very patient. I wish I could do like a Spanish accent without sounding like a racist or something, but I don't want to be like, hey, Hans, but you know, like a Cuban accent. Any Cuban viewers out there? If there are, you should teach me how to do that kind of accent, because you know, I mean, not like I did Djiboutian accents or anything, but whatever. Anyway, let's focus on the here and now, and the here and now dictates that we are doing fine for now. We're going to lower our tax rate by another 7% in an effort to get tourism to rise. I want tourism to actually be our main thingamabobber, the main source of money. And we're going to raise government. We're just going to max government out so I can hopefully stop corruption growth. Maybe get rid of it altogether. Let's see. 410. Our resources, surprisingly enough, are growing a little bit. Even though we are taxing the dog piss out of them. And we're also paying off our debt. So we are off to a great start for Cuba. Alright, so after some careful time passing and, you know, managing the economics, now we're actually getting on decent relations with other countries in the world. Where we want to go now is basically we want to get some economic aid treaties from those countries. I've had people tell me that having multiple treaties with one country doesn't help you, but I don't know. I somehow don't agree with that, just because of the fact that it seems like the more I put, the more money I get. See, boom, look, I just got another $400 million by signing the treaty with Canada. So I do it up to 8 times with a single country, especially if I'm on good terms. Why not just go ahead and get them to pay all my bills, the electric bills, the water bill? Yes, yes. Pay it all for me, Canada. Pay it all. Anyway, so let's go over to France. Let's see if France might give us one. France isn't doing so well in this particular game. I've noticed. Actually, you know, Canada's almost doing better than France. Huh, interesting. They're making more money than... You know, actually, no, Canada is doing better than France. Interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and see if they'll send us one. Nope, they probably won't, just because they're so... Yeah, they're broke. They're very broke. A lot of times, I've noticed since this game was re-released on the... on the Steam platform, I've noticed that a lot of the countries go into economic failure a lot easier, which, whereas in the original game, countries would somehow come back from the brink that a human player could not come back from. And they were able to do it. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what kind of economic files they changed or what to make that occur, but it's happening. Also, I just lowered my tax rate. I'm trying to get it down so that, tourism can become the primary form of income. Which, as you can see, my tourism is actually paying for the budget slider tourism, and I'm making a little bit of profit off of it. So over time, and as my stability rating gets higher, and my approval rating gets higher, and corruption gets lower, tourism will actually probably become, very, very viable for my country. But in the meantime, we have plenty of money, and we're doing great. We are doing great. Relatively speaking. It's only been about 4 years, and we've already almost doubled their economy and turned this into a profitable nation. The people are still poverty-stricken and whatnot, but hey, yeah. And they're actually worth less than they were before. But the population's rising. Hey, it's going up. It's going up. Also, immigration and immigration is under control, as you can see, because we have more people coming into the country than leaving. Generally, that's a good thing. Generally. Unless you're getting a bunch of old people. In which case, it's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. You know, because old people in this game don't work. They don't count as part of the labor force. So they just become expenses, higher expenses. So that's why I kind of like to have a lot more kids and, you know, people in the middle category, the middle demographic, the working class, basically. Why I like to have more of those people, because, you know, they actually provide, in this case. Not that I have a problem with old people in real life, mind you. Let's go ahead and keep lowering that tax rate. Let's bring it down another 4 or 5%, roughly. And let's see. Ooh, oh my. Oh, we're having a surge in our economy. It must be Christmas time. Yes, it is. Look. It's Halloween almost. As people must be buying lots of stuff in the Cuban economy. And let's see. Tourism. Wow, tourism just jumped. Do you see that? That's exactly what I was talking about. So now tourism is basically paying most of our bills. And this is a great thing. This is a very, very good thing. This allows us to lower our global tax mod to stop killing our economy. A little bit. Not much, though. Not much, mind you. Just a little bit. Let's see how much it lowers from that. Give it a second. It will refresh. Alright, there it goes. It lowered a little bit. And I also lowered it another 2 or 3%. So we brought it down about, what, 8, 9% roughly overall. Which, again, is going to be good for us. It allows the resource growth to get back up to where it needs to be for us to make a lot of money. Also, keep in mind, we're almost making as much money a year as Mexico. That's awesome. That's very awesome. And the world is starting to look at us in a brighter light. So, I think I'll go ahead and for this little episode of this special episode about Cuba, I think I'll call this one to a close for now. I might do another one later. But I basically was more concerned with showing you how I do my economy in Superpower 2. I raise everything up really high, and then over time I bring it down bit by bit by bit as I go along, pretty much. And yeah, it's just it's a fun way. I enjoy this way. Yeah, it works for me. I don't have many problems with it, so it works. If anybody has any tips or suggestions on how I can improve my game, feel free to spout it out here, because I'd be glad to hear it, and I'd be glad to apply it to the strategies I already use. Anyway, this has been CommissarBRO. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, favorite, share, do all that good nonsense. And yeah, hopefully we can turn this into a thing. I might even just start doing like how-to videos about this game, because yeah, even though it's been around for a couple years, there's still a lot of changes, and you know, there's still all those mods and whatnot. Don't worry, guys, I am going to do this. I think I'm gonna go with this Uber Fox mod, because this seems to be a very popular one on the community hub. So I might just go with that one. I might not. But whatever. We'll find out as time goes on. Anyway, thanks for watching. You guys have a wonderful day. And enjoy your summer. It's almost over for me, but you enjoy yours. Thanks. Bye, guys. See you later.
Hi, CommissarBRO here to talk about all the things that you love. No, just kidding. I'm actually sitting here trying to figure out what game I want to play. Unfortunately, I've been going through the list for about 15 minutes, and frankly, I can't find shit! You ever had that problem when you are just going down your list of Steam games and you can't figure out which fucking one you want to play? Well, I have that problem all the time. It's, kind of frustrating. Yeah, if you know what I mean.